On the far edge of the galaxy, where stars twinkled faintly and space seemed darker and colder than anywhere else, the Velthari Empire kept a close watch. The Velthari were an ancient and powerful alien race, known across many star systems for their skill in war and their strict control over their vast territories. Their patrol ships moved silently between the stars, scanning for any signs of danger or trespassers who dared to cross their borders. One quiet day, a small Velthari scout ship picked up something unusual, a vessel unlike any they had seen before. The ship was sleek but sturdy, moving with purpose and grace. The scanners identified it as human, a species that, for centuries, had intrigued and frightened the Velthari in equal measure. The Velthari commander, a stern and cautious leader named Kael'thar, stared at the readings on his screen. He had heard stories passed down through generations, tales of humans who fought with an almost reckless courage, who survived battles where others would have been destroyed. His voice was steady but firm when he sent out the message. Do not attack the humans. You will never escape their wrath. This warning was not just advice. It was a command that echoed through every fleet in the Velthari Empire. Meanwhile, aboard the human starship Endurance, Captain Elena Harper looked out at the stars with quiet determination. The humans were on a peaceful mission to explore uncharted space, to build new friendships and trade routes with alien species they had never met. No one on the Endurance had any idea about the fear their race inspired in the Velthari or the stories whispered in dark halls about their tenacity. Inside the ship, the crew moved with calm efficiency. They worked together, solving problems quickly and supporting each other through long days and sleepless nights. Despite being far from home, they were united by a sense of purpose and hope. Unbeknownst to them, a Velthari spy had been following their every move. Hidden in the shadows of a nearby asteroid, the spy's eyes studied the humans carefully. What surprised the Velthari observer was not just the humans' technology, but their behavior. Unlike other species who showed fear or arrogance, the humans remained calm in the face of the unknown. They shared resources, helped each other, and adapted to new challenges with creativity and strength. The spy's reports stirred quiet conversations among Velthari officers. In dimly lit rooms filled with holographic star maps and soft hums of machinery, whispers floated about the humans' past. Some spoke of ancient battles, where humans had fought against great odds and refused to surrender. Others recalled times when the humans had surprised entire fleets with their quick thinking and unbreakable spirit. The warnings were clear. Humans were not enemies to be taken lightly. As the human ship continued its journey, the tension in the Velthari Empire grew. The warning sent out by Commander Kael'thar spread like wildfire, filling every corner of the empire with cautious respect and fear. The story of the humans was no longer just a tale. It was a reminder that in the vast emptiness of space, strength came not just from weapons or numbers, but from willpower and unity. The Endurance moved forward, unaware of the eyes watching from afar, unaware of the legacy they carried. But, in the silent void, a storm was brewing, one that would test the courage and resolve of all those who dared to cross paths with humanity. The Velthari waited, uncertain but wary, for the moment when the humans would reveal their true power. And deep in the stars, the human crew prepared for a future they could not yet see, bound by a promise they would soon have to keep. Far from the watchful eyes of the Velthari command, a small but dangerous faction within their ranks grew restless. These were warriors who did not trust warnings or ancient tales. They believed strength alone decided the fate of the galaxy. This rogue group, led by a fierce commander named Vrax, saw the human ship Endurance as a challenge, a chance to prove that the Velthari Empire still ruled without fear. Ignoring the solemn warning from their leaders, Vrax and his faction secretly prepared to strike. Their target was the human scouting party sent to explore nearby star systems, a small group of ships sent from Endurance to map new routes and gather information. The rogue Velthari expected a swift and easy victory. They believed the humans would crumble under the might of their advanced weapons and battle experience. But what they did not know was that the humans were more than just explorers. As the Velthari ship suddenly appeared and fired the first shots, the human scouts sprang into action. They moved with surprising speed and precision, using adaptive technology that could change instantly to counter new threats. Shields shifted frequencies, weapons recalibrated mid-battle, and the human pilots used clever maneuvers that confused and frustrated their attackers. The rogue faction's confidence quickly turned to shock as their carefully planned attack faltered. Instead of crushing the humans, the Velthari found themselves outmatched by tactics they had not expected. Tactics born from years of survival against impossible odds back on Earth and other human colonies. The humans did not just fight with weapons, they fought with intelligence and unity. Each member of the scouting party communicated flawlessly, covering weaknesses and exploiting openings. When a Velthari ship tried to flank the humans, it suddenly found its engines disabled by an unexpected electronic attack. Another Velthari fighter was caught in a net of coordinated fire, forced to retreat. One by one, the rogue ships were disabled, or driven away, their assault turning into a desperate scramble for survival. Back on the Velthari homeworld, the news of this battle arrived quickly. Reports from the front lines detailed the strange and effective human tactics, the fearless resistance and the unwillingness to surrender. In the great halls of the Velthari command, some officers who had doubted the ancient warnings began to question their own beliefs. How could a species so young and unfamiliar fight with such relentless courage and skill? What secrets did the humans hold? The victorious human scouts sent a clear message back to their home ship, which relayed it across space. "We seek peace, but we defend fiercely." These words echoed in Velthari minds, stirring unease among those who had hoped for an easy conquest. The rogue faction, humiliated and battered, withdrew in silence, their pride wounded but their fear now deeply rooted. The encounter was more than a battle. It was a warning that humanity was not a foe to underestimate. As the rogue Velthari retreated to lick their wounds, the Endurance and its crew prepared for what might come next. They knew their peaceful mission had changed. Now they must show the galaxy that humans could be strong allies but also unstoppable defenders when their survival was at stake. The shadow of conflict had grown longer, but so too had the resolve of those aboard the Endurance. Suspense hung thick in the air. Would the Velthari accept the message, or would war be forced upon them by those who refused to listen? The answer lay somewhere in the stars, waiting for the next move. After the fierce battle between the rogue Velthari faction and the human scouts, tensions ran high across the galaxy. The Velthari leadership, disturbed by the unexpected resilience of the humans, realized that continued conflict would only bring more losses and chaos. In the shadows of their grand halls, a bold decision was made. Ambassador Thalir, one of the most respected and wise Velthari diplomats, was tasked with a secret mission: to contact the human captain and offer a chance for dialogue, a moment where two very different civilizations could understand each other better. The message was discreet but clear, sent through secure channels to Captain Elena Harper aboard the starship Endurance. Intrigued and cautious, Elena agreed to meet. Both sides understood the stakes. This meeting could decide the future of their relations. The location chosen was a small, neutral asteroid base, far from any homeworld or fleet, surrounded by the cold silence of space. When Ambassador Thalir arrived, his presence was imposing but calm. He spoke with respect and honesty, knowing that the fate of many rested on these conversations. Slowly, he revealed the truth behind the Velthari's warning not to attack humans. Long ago, humans had faced a brutal galactic empire, a force so powerful it crushed entire worlds without mercy. Yet, despite overwhelming odds, humans fought back. They did not win through sheer firepower alone, but through unity, creativity, and an unyielding spirit that refused to surrender. This history was not just legend, it was the foundation of humanity's strength. The humans listened intently, sharing their own stories of struggle and cooperation, how they had united diverse groups, overcoming differences to create something stronger than any single nation or race. Their history was filled with moments when intelligence and heart had turned the tide of battles thought lost. As the dialogue deepened, both sides began to see what was at stake. The Velthari, with their long memory and vast knowledge, admitted they had underestimated humans. That mistake could have cost them dearly. But more than that, Ambassador Thaler spoke of dangers darker than any dispute between Velthari and humans. Ancient, hidden threats lurking in the unexplored reaches of the galaxy, waiting for a chance to rise. The ambassador proposed an alliance, one built on trust and shared strength, to protect their worlds from those shadows. For the first time, the humans and Velthari stood not as strangers or enemies, but as potential allies. Suspense filled the quiet spaces between their words, the weight of the future pressing on them all. Would this fragile beginning grow into lasting peace, or would fear and suspicion tear it apart? As the meeting ended, both sides knew this was only the start of a new chapter, one where understanding and courage might change the course of history among the stars. As hope began to take root between the Velthari and the humans, a dark shadow crept silently across the stars. The rogue Velthari faction, still bitter and unwilling to accept peace or alliance, conspired in secret to destroy the fragile trust that was forming. Their plan was daring and brutal, to launch a massive surprise assault on the human homeworld, hoping to crush humanity's spirit before the Velthari Empire, and humans could unite against greater threats. Under the cover of darkness, fleets of sleek, deadly ships sped toward the distant blue planet, weapons primed for devastation. However, the humans were far from naive. Their centuries of hardship and constant conflict had taught them to expect betrayal and to prepare accordingly. They had spent years developing a planetary defense system unlike any other, combining advanced technology with deep strategic thinking. This system was not just about firepower. It was about intelligence, adaptability, and unity. As the Velthari rogues approached, the planet's defense network came alive. Satellites shifted, energy fields rose, and countless drones filled the skies, ready to defend every inch of the world. Civilians were not helpless bystanders, but active participants in the defense. Scientists, engineers, and volunteers worked, alongside the military, coordinating efforts through a vast communication network that linked every sector of the planet. The attack began with brutal force, but the humans responded with overwhelming precision. Their counterattacks were swift and coordinated, cutting off enemy supply lines and disabling key Velthari ships before they could deliver their full strike. The rogue Velthari were stunned by the humans' ability to adapt to their tactics in real time. When one strategy failed, the humans quickly implemented another, showing an incredible level of flexibility and unity that defied the expectations of even the most experienced warriors. Every attack the rogues launched was met with fierce resistance. The planet's defenses seemed almost alive, a living shield protecting the people beneath. Fighters flew in perfect formations, covering each other's weaknesses, while ground forces coordinated strikes to repel any attempt at landing. Civilians repaired critical systems under fire, keeping the defense network operational when it mattered most. The Velthari rogues found themselves trapped in a relentless counterattack, unable to gain ground or even escape without taking heavy losses. Their pride shattered, they faced the harsh reality of the ancient warning once again. Humans were not merely survivors, but fierce defenders who would not allow their world to fall. The battle raged on, but it became clear that the rogue faction's assault was doomed to fail. The unity between humans, military and civilian alike, created a strength that was more than just weapons and numbers. It was a shared will, a deep determination born from history and hope. As the dust settled and the rogue ships retreated in defeat, the galaxy took notice. The story of that battle spread quickly, a powerful reminder that provoking humanity meant facing a wrath that could not be escaped. The Endurance's crew and their planet stood stronger than ever, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. But beneath the victory lay a warning. Peace was fragile and enemies could come from anywhere. The humans had proven their strength, but the fight for survival was far from over. In the silent void beyond their world, shadows stirred, watching and waiting for their moment to strike. In the quiet moments that followed the fierce battle, the Velthari Central Command finally took decisive action to end the threat posed by the rogue faction. The rogue commanders, battered and broken, were swiftly contained and brought before the Empire's highest council, where justice was served for their reckless aggression. The leadership of the Velthari could no longer ignore the truth that the humans had proven with undeniable clarity. Their strength was not just in weapons or numbers, but in resilience, honor, and an unbreakable will to survive. This recognition changed everything. With cautious optimism, the Velthari extended a formal offer of alliance to humanity, one that spoke of mutual respect and a shared future. The human leaders, led by Captain Elena Harper, accepted the offer, understanding that only together could they face the unknown dangers lurking deeper in the galaxy's shadows. As preparations began for joint operations and shared defense strategies, a new chapter was written in the stars, one where two very different civilizations stood side by side as allies. Captain Harper often found herself reflecting on this journey, from the early days of exploration when humans were little more than curiosity, to distant empires, to becoming fierce defenders respected across countless worlds. The old warnings that once cast humanity as a terrifying, unpredictable force now evolved into something greater. The galaxy had learned that humans were protectors, loyal allies who stood firm against darkness, shining as beacons of hope in the vastness of space. The stories whispered among the stars carried new meaning. Attacking humans no longer meant just facing wrath, but confronting an unwavering spirit ready to defend not only their own, but anyone willing to stand with them. As the alliance between humans and Velthari grew stronger, so did the resolve to face whatever challenges awaited beyond the known horizons. Shadows moved in the distant reaches, threats that could test the courage of any species. Yet, united, the humans and Velthari were ready to meet those challenges head-on. The legacy of the past battles and hard-won peace gave them strength, and the future, though uncertain, was filled with promise. The human crew aboard the Endurance stood proud, knowing their story was no longer just about survival but about hope, unity, and the power of standing together against the darkness. In the vast silence of space, this alliance was a new light, stronger than any weapon, more enduring than fear, and a testament to the extraordinary spirit of humanity.